happened over there, David? And did they bring some karate guy in to try to what was that story?
Oh my goodness, that's years down. So I started in All Japan under mask, and I did 2 tours for All Japan. Had a falling out with my partner. He went back with another partner, and he got beat up. I don't know if you ever seen you ever see that one nasty chair shot Stan Hansen does on the guy in a black mask? I don't know if you ever seen it. It's so nasty. It's worth watching. It's like the Beverly Hillbillies when they shoot the ground and the oil flows up through the mask. It's like boiling. So I had a falling out. He went back, got beat up. I went down to Puerto Rico, and then I started doing that thing. I met Victor Quinones there. So he was part of you know Victor,
right?
Victor Quinones, right? So he was part of IWA. He's one of the owners, and this other fellow, Osano, right? So they were a little like whatever. I know Osano, the owner of the company, he was gay. Like Victor, I heard stories, but I didn't think much of it. So I'm over there on the tour, and this is when I'm drinking, and I was taking a lot of things called like Halcyon. I was taking a lot of Halcyon.
I remember those.
So I was sitting out.
We've heard of it.
For whatever reason, I had some kind of tolerance to them, and I enjoyed them. Right? I think they would kill me now. I don't even know if they make them now anymore. But so it was out with Victor, and I was drinking, and I was taking Halcyon and everything, and I'm having a good time. And he was just asking me some of the strangest stuff. He's like, "I bet Luna really likes that curly hair," and I'm like, yeah, sure she does. I don't know. I wasn't even thinking nothing of it. I'm like, this guy's strange, man. Like, it's like my first time sitting out with him. And then his face kept, I thought he was having like a spasm or something. Kept closing his eye and twisting his head. He would say weird, something strange and offbeat. And I go, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Like, he had some kind of like Bell's palsy. I didn't know what it was. I'm like, I didn't know what was going on with him. And then, so I just keep drinking now. So now we go to head back. Doug Gilbert was there, Miguelito Perez. There was a few other guys in this elevator. So we go to get in the elevator, and I go to push the floor. Now, granted, I was wearing Zubaz pants, but we're like into like the 3rd week of the tour. So my underwear were hanging in the room drying. So I was out commando in these pants with the Zubaz. And as I pushed the button, Victor perfectly grabbed my ass, and his finger penetrated my butthole, man. like through those Zubaz. And I spun around naturally and grabbed him by his throat. And I had him up against the elevator wall. And it all came to me all night. That spasms he was having, he was winking at me. The curly hair remarks. I go, oh my God, this guy's been flirting with me all night. So I'm kind of laughing. And Doug Gilbert and or Miguelito Perez actually was like, amigo, you got to put him down. He's drunk. Let him go. Because I had him by the throat. But I was laughing. I was thinking all night, this guy's been flirting with me. And then, so I wasn't even mad at this point. Like, I let him down, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. He was like super drunk and wasted it. And he gave me a bunch of phone cards, like the bootleg phone cards to make up for it. They kept sending stuff to my room. I'm going, man, he's going over the top with this, but whatever. I really was over it. It was like all night he was struggling, but I didn't get it because I was drinking and taking. I didn't catch on to it. So I didn't. It wasn't funny. I didn't want it to happen, but I wasn't mad about it. I was just like, whatever. So because I grabbed him by the throat and all that, and I felt bad about that because I got a little bit of a temper when it goes. And but I let him down. It's like the next night. Every night, Victor came to me, and he would have me go over every night, like really fast on like the Leather Faces and the Freddy Kruegers. IWA was like a monster company, so I was working as a vampire. And I thought it was strange. I was going over every night. Then that night after this happened, the next night, they sent Miguelito Perez over. Migo, you make job tonight. I'm like, sure. like, yeah, I'll make a job. I don't care. I was surprised I was going over anyway. Who cares as long as I'm getting paid. And then he pointed out to a ring crew guy. The guy was a Spanish guy in Japan, but he had scars all over him. I go, can he wrestle? You got a problem, amigo? I go, no, I don't have a problem. Just ask you, can he wrestle? Do you have a problem? I go, no problem. Then he goes, 15 minutes. I go, 15 minutes? He goes, you got a problem, amigo? Like he was trying to intimidate me. I go, no, I don't have a problem, but can he wrestle? Do you have a problem, amigo? No, man, I don't have a problem. So I go in there. And for 14 minutes, now this isn't the karate guy. We'll get to the karate guy. But for 14 minutes, I beat this poor bastard up for 14 minutes. I'm just pummeling him. I'm picking him up, back up, and I'm hitting him, and he's falling down. And about 14 minutes in, I go, hit me. And I realized the guy didn't really even speak English. Then I finally said, peg me. So he swings a punch. It was so like phantom and weak. It probably missed me by 6 inches or a foot. Who knows? I mean, it was obvious. And I did just an ST like back bump. I just timbered like, boom. And you could have heard that arena, and it was full. It was like crickets when you heard 1, 2, 3, and he pinned me. And it was just quiet. It was like scary quiet. I walked all the way to the back.
You did the job off a phantom punch.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
I beat him up for 14 minutes and did the phantom punch job.
That's great.
So I get to the back, and there's a guy, Ricky Patterson out of Texas. He's a big Canadian guy who works his Leatherface, not Kirshner, but the other one. And he's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? You just exposed everything." I go, what do you want me to do?" He goes, "Oh, are you scared? Are you worried?" I go, "No." I go, "We'll find out tomorrow," because nobody was talking to me. And then the next day, I was back over again. That'd be going back over. So the tour is finishing up, and it's Corrigan Hall, and we're sitting in there, and they have the board up. They didn't put any matches up. Then I'm like, I wonder what's going on tonight. And then they finally put the card up. It said karate versus wrestling. Now everybody else's name was filled in everywhere in the rest of the thing, but this was like the opening match. It said karate versus wrestling. I go, well, karate versus wrestling. I was wrestling as a vampire then. There wasn't a whole lot of wrestling. It was kind of gimmick and brawling, but karate versus wrestling. So I go around and I ask one of the young boys, like, "Oh, it's me, like me, as in me." And I go, "Oh," and I see Victor sitting with Osano, the owner. They're all over on the other side of the arena. So I'm in the ring, kind of, hang out for the show. So I ask him, "Hey, maybe they want to go talk about this. Maybe he'll catch you with a kick right out the gate. I don't know. I'm just trying to make talk. I'll get up at the 9 count. He'll come at me and I'll catch a submission. I don't know. I'm trying to make the best of it. I haven't figured out that this is I was being set up or nothing, So, and then I see him go over there, and he's telling it to him, and it just looked like James Jonah Jameson in the old Superman cartoons when he laughed. They were smoking cigars. You could see the rings of smoke going up. They're like, ah. So he comes back, and he goes, "Davison, maybe trouble, bite." He left, and I'm like, "What the maybe trouble?" And then Ricky, the other guy was there, that Leatherface guy. He goes, "Oh, sounds like you're in trouble tonight. What are you gonna do?" I go, "Well, I'm in Japan. I'm certainly not running." I go, I don't know. He goes, "I think it's got to be a shoot." So he's getting me all G'd up about it being a shoot or something. I'm like, and nobody's talked to me. Nobody's come over to give me any finish. And the show started, this first match. So my music goes, and I head out to the ring. So I get out there, and I'm in my corner like a little. I picture it felt like I was a little cuckoo clock, the little things where they walk back and forth. Right. So I'm sitting there and I look and I see all the guys, all the American or the foreign guys out on the wall, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not a good time. And then this guy.
Had you talked to the karate guy at all?
No, talk to nobody.
So you don't have a finish. You don't have a finish. Nothing.
Nothing. Just them laughing when the young boy went over to talk to them. Just the cigar smokes and rings and laughing. So when this guy's music hit, it was like a Showtime boxing pay-per-view or something. Like, I don't know. They were like, "Bah." Everybody knew who this guy was. He was getting streamers before he got to the ring. He was getting streamers on the way to the ring. I'm like, who is this guy, And he gets in, and he's a bigger guy, like 6'3", not too much bigger than me, but he looked like a giant to me because I didn't know what the hell was going on. And he didn't talk to me. He's in there, and he's just warming up, and I'm just sitting in my corner, and I look, and all the Japanese guys are out on the thing. Like, they never come out to watch a match. I'm like, oh man, this is not good, But I'm still kind of like, do I wrestle? What do I do? I don't know. So the bell rings, and this guy just kind of walks up calmly right to the center of the ring. And for the life of me, I don't know why I did this. I went to tie up. I go to come in and tie up. But before I could do anything, it was like, wow! I just got my foot lifted off the ground to kind of defend the kick, but he caught me my knee hard. I was like, oh! And I kind of crumbled on my left knee. I kind of went down. And the next kick was coming, and I was already leaning. He was coming in, and I thought I could get it was so fast, I thought I could get my elbow down in time, but he popped it in and out. I was like, oh. and knocked the wind out of me. But he didn't break my ribs, but he bruised them really bad. So I went down to a knee and an elbow. And the rest of it was told to me by Ricky, Leatherface. He tells me the rest of it. And he goes, oh. And then I remember seeing it. What I remember seeing of it was I was looking at him, and it was in slow motion. I could see the sweat dripping off him in slow motion. And he's gearing up, and he's coming with a kick to the head. So I guess he comes in with that kick to the head. I couldn't get my arm up in time for that either. He was so fast. And he kicked me. And Ricky, when he's telling me about it, he starts laughing. He says, it looked like somebody put a shotgun under you and pumped it and just shot you under the chin. He said, I blew up and my back hit the corner. And he said, before my arms dropped, my arms never dropped. He said, I turned purple and grew 3 sizes. It came out. and I just knocked him out. I knocked him out. And then I proceeded to pick him up. He said I was running and trying to break his neck into the ground. And then he was like, he's unconscious. And I was laying on him, and I hooked a reverse dragon sleeper. And I was bridging back, trying to break his neck. And they said, it was camera people came in, referees, everybody's trying to pry my hands off. But yeah, it turns out he was some big deal, like medalist or something. There's video somewhere. People keep telling me they're going to give it to me. People have seen the video. So, because I start questioning, is this a big fishtail I tell? And then I ask people back, and they go, no, it happened.
So what happened afterwards?
What happened after? So I'm back there, and what I remember is they're looking in my eyes with these lights, these guys there, and then I go, oh, and then it was like I guess I was blacked out, like just in some other frame of mind or something, and nobody talked to me, nothing. They sent some stranger over to pay me. It was the last night, so we're going to Korea the next day for a 2-week tour over there. So this guy, I believe, was Korean too. So nobody talked to me, nothing. The guy got paid, and Ricky, this is gonna sound racist as hell, but he's like, oh, finally a white man killed the yellow man. He's like, I'm so tired of getting my ass kicked over here. So he was celebrating. I'm like, well, I'm not even sure what happened. I'm thinking I just got my ass whipped, because I was groggy, because those 3 kicks were the fastest I've ever been kicked, The only person that hit me that fast one other time was Tyree Pride. I don't know, you remember Tyree Pride?
The Pride of Bahamas.
Oh shit, he hit me so fast on it. We're working the Miccosukee. I got banned off the Miccosukee. I got banned. They ended up holding me for assault on federal marshals, inciting a riot. I beat the shit out of Tyree when he did that.
We're over in the Bahamas or where?
No, down on the Miccosukee reservation down there in Florida.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I got banned. They told me never come back. Never come back.
You get banned on the Indian reservation, you've done something.
Yeah, I've gone back. I've gone back and wrestled since then. A couple of the kids came to my school to train, and they go, "Hey, we were there when you got arrested that night." Tyree tried to stab me. The Tyree thing was. Also, back to the karate thing. I'm sorry. So I went to Korea for 2 weeks, and then I had to come back and finish a tour with them. IWA, I had another tour, so I would do Japan, then I'd go to Korea, and then I'd come back and do Japan again. But you had a week. I had to wait a week for the tour to start. So I came back. They never called me. They kept calling Ricky the next tour. I go, is he calling you? Is Victor calling? He goes, yeah. He keeps asking if you're still mad. I go, I'm not mad. He's got to give me I need my per diem, so I'm going home. I said, tell him to call me. And 3 days went by, and he never called me. And I'd hear his phone ring every time. I go, did he just call you? He goes, yeah, he called me. He asked if you're still mad. But they never came over and paid me my per diem. I just jumped on a bus in Narita and flew home. And then later, I went back to work for him. A year or two later, nothing happened.
He never brought it up. I mean, he set you up in a shoot and didn't tell you about it.
No, he never brought it up. And then when I tell the story, Bushwhacker Luke, you know Bushwhacker, right?
Right.
Yeah. So and Luke looked at me and said, mate, I think you're full of shit. I said, where are you at? He goes, I'm in Puerto Rico. I said, all right, so is Miguelito there? He goes, yeah. I said, go ask him about that story. Because Miguelito, I think, was instrumental in all setting this up, too. And a week later, Luke called me up and says, mate, remind me not to fuck with you. So, yeah. No, never mentioned again. No talk of it at all. Just wrestling, right?
Right before the match, when you're sitting in the dressing room, you never talked to this guy. You thought it might be a shoot, it might not be a shoot. You had no idea.
I was confused, yeah. And for some strange reason, I still tried to tie up. At that point, I knew it was a shoot, and I still tried to tie up. Got 3 damn kicks to hurt. Yeah, but I don't know. It gave me good street credit all the way up to like I went back to All Japan in 98. I went back to All Japan. Actually, I did the Funkin' Dojo, like for WWE or whatever, when Dory had the dojo there. Right. They had you come in and look. And I did that, but then I had a tour of All Japan, and I went back and just worked as David Heath, just boots. I got in good shape, lost all the weight and stuff. And I was over there, and I went back, and Masao and Kawada, they were training. It was Masao mostly, and he goes, "Oh, no more Fat Boy, Okama champion." They were like, because they're all joking about it. So it gave me street credit all the way through All Japan. They treated me totally different after that. Like all the Japanese guys. Hell, I didn't even know they spoke English my first trip over there.